Okay, so I want to spend just a little while talking to you, preparing you for what I want to show you in a minute with a little story. I was working on my master's degree at BYU. I was in a class called Problems in Conditioning, and it's one of the greatest classes. I'll never forget. I don't remember many of the classes I've taken, but this was a game changer for me. And I remember the professor's name was Phil Olson, and he was a runner. I went to school actually with his son in Provo, and he was a long distance runner as well. And so these guys knew a thing or two about exercise, but he was a professor, he was about ready to retire. He knew everything there was to know about exercise. And I remember one assignment he gave us. He said, I want you to go into what they called the stacks back then. Back then, we didn't have computers. We didn't have, we really did type things. We typed our papers and used whiteout all the time. And the library was just nothing but books and magazines. There was no computer to access information. They had what they called microfiche that would have pictures of, these little tiny plastic kind of pages that were the journal articles, and you'd take it to this big machine so that you could stick the little tiny thing so you could see what it looked like, the article. Anyway, he said, I want you to go into the library, I want you to go into the stacks, I want you to go to into the research literature, and I want you to the assignment was to find 10 things that happen to you in beneficial ways to the body, mind, when you exercise aerobically. Not any other type of exercise for this assignment. It was just aerobic exercise. That's all he wanted us to do, is find 10 benefits. And I during that time, I'd always been very active, and I was running, kind of just to stay in shape, or going to what we called aerobic classes back then. But so I could think of a few things like, well, it must be good for your heart somehow. I didn't know exactly how. I'd never studied this stuff, but I had a sense, well, maybe this is good for your heart. Maybe it's good for certainly your lungs. It's got to be good for your muscles. But I really didn't have a good idea of all the benefits, or very many benefits, of aerobic exercise. And so I was kind of excited about this assignment. I went to the library, and it took forever to do this assignment. But I came up with this list of 10 and we handed it in, and then he compiled them all. Everybody in the class, he compiled, and most of us had a lot of the same things from the studies. And in other words, research that had been done to show what aerobic exercise does for certain areas of the body. And we ended up as a class with a list of about 25 things that, unique things, some for the heart, lungs, liver, pancreas, brain, quite a few things, 25 things. And he gave the list to us, and he said, great, get motivated. So go and exercise for the rest of your life, because this is what exercise does for you. And that was an amazing list to me, and I thought, there must be more things. And so what I did is I've always loved being active. I've always loved working out, and I really, there's something, I may be addicted to it, just because I know how good it makes me feel. I thought, I'm going to keep my eye on this. Amongst all the other things I'm doing in health promotion, I'm going to keep my eye on exercise. And I'm going to, every time I come across any piece of research that is a new benefit of aerobic exercise, I'm going to write it down. And so I started making a list. And through the years, I'd find this. And pretty soon, about, I don't know, within a few years, the internet came online. The internet came about, and we started accessing, the wider world. We started getting access to, and so I became connected with lists, listservs, different ways of interacting with people on the internet, and I'd learn about some more ways. And every time I found something, I'd write it down. And I got this list going and going and going, and I kept adding things, and I kept finding new things, and I'm thinking, wow, this is really pretty impressive that there are this many unique benefits of aerobic exercise. And this didn't even include, the anaerobic exercise, the high intensity interval training, yoga, weightlifting, all the other types of exercise that are so very good for this. Was just aerobic exercise. And over the years, I've kept this list going. And what I want to do in just a second, I'm going to show you what this list looks like now. It's pretty long, and this is why, if someone were to ask me, what do you think if there were only one thing that we should do more importantly than anything else to keep us healthy and well, mind, body, head to toe, I would say, I don't know of anything that has this many benefits. There's a few that are close, but this is, to my mind, the MVP of lifelong wellness. And so in just a second, I'm going to show you what that list looks like, where that list is right now for me. So I will meet you in a second with that.